Here he comes.
As we welcome
Here
Israel Adesanya to the panel. Israel, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. We're back.
What was that like to perform in front of the Perth faithful?
It was better than last time. It was better than last time. Yeah. It was better than last time. And again, it lets me know I'm in the right space of mind. I can feel it. I can feel the energy. Like last time, it was kind of like, man, even doing the push-ups at the beginning, I was like, oh, let me just make sure I can do these. Yo! But yeah, I like the energy. This time it's my week.
Yeah, man, for sure. Man, obviously I've been at the gym with you all week, and I'm just seeing, like, do you feel like there's, how are you looking at this? Is there something that you got something to prove, or is it, or you going out there, look, this is just another day in the office, but how are you looking at this? Because I can see the fire in your eyes. I don't know if it's me looking into it too much. There's fire
my brother,
there.
you already know. Like, it's another day in the office. Yes, I'm clocking back into work. I've been taking a layoff, but now I'm clocking back in, and this time it's something to prove to myself, but also to prove the people that doubt me. Like, I like that feel a little bit, but again, this camp I've tapped into the ones that surround me and show me love, the ones that have helped me. That's why we bring them over, because I want them to witness the work that we've put in the last 16 weeks. I want them to witness that live. So yeah, it's another day in the office, but I'm gonna prove myself right.
So do you let the doubters motivate you anymore, or do you refuse to let that fuel you?
No, it's not it's like maybe 20%.
Sure.
It's there. I have my own ego. I got a big ego, but it's a healthy ego, and that's normal for any of us to have. You got to have an ego and believe, like, oh yeah, you don't, okay, watch this. And I'm going to show them again. I'm going to show myself, because even myself, I have those moments earlier this week, I'll be honest. Normally it comes later on, but it's been a while. I haven't been fighting this actively, so I'm like, and then I just know how to turn it off and be like, right, watch this, because I trust myself. When I get in there, I'm going to come alive.
Yeah, and you're so active, right?
Yeah.
Such an active...
We were.
Yeah, exactly.
We are.
You got to let the body rest. How does the body feel? As you said, you feel good. You can do push-ups.
Amazing,
and
bro. Even that was like maybe 30% speed. And I'm like, fuck.
I've seen the speed all week, so...
Yeah,
like,
that was 30%. So I was like, oh, shit. And I was just flowing. There was no nerves. No, even getting up there, I wasn't even sweating. I was just like, whatever. But again, lovely crowd, good reception, and yeah, good pad work. I didn't want to do too much. Like I said, today it's light. Sunday we step heavy.
It is quite astonishing for me to be in the presence of two of the greatest UFC champions of our era, arguably of all time. And you guys are really good friends. Izzy, I'd like to ask you, what have you learned from this man? And Volk, I'll ask you the same thing. How does this man inspire you?
What I've learned from this man is the power of the mind, the power of your spirit. Ooh. One of the moments I always remember is when you got caught in that guillotine with Ortega, and I was just like, what the fuck, no. And you got out of that, go into a triangle, his two best submissions, and beat him for 30 seconds till he just fucking had nothing. And to get out, if you ever been caught in those ones, they're fucking tough. And to get out of that and have the energy to wail on someone, ground and pound for 30, 40 seconds, that just shows the amount of heart this guy has. And again, call him up, he's ready to go. That's what I love about this guy, and I've learned so much from him, and I'm going to keep learning from him, and he always inspires me. Yeah,
man, for me, as we already mentioned, I wouldn't have been the active champion I was if it wasn't for him, you know what I mean? And a lot of it come with me being comfortable with who I am and confident, and I don't think I would have had that confidence, or me being even just comfortable of me as a fighter, or even me as a person. I didn't feel like I was always something that I probably struggled with till I got to hang out more with Israel Adesanya and sort of feel that energy and then sort of learn off him that way. So I wouldn't be the champion I was if it wasn't for someone like Izzy.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah. Cheers.
That's remarkable, guys. Thanks so much for your time. I'm going to let you guys drink in the crowd a little bit and absorb the aura of them.
Let's fucking go!
Dricus, we spoke yesterday about you fighting in enemy territory, but it seems that you've got a lot of the crowd behind you.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Of course, we had the Springboks here. It was the loud people. I mean, a dream come true for anybody. I mean, to have your national team here supporting you like we've over the years been supporting them has been incredible. And obviously, yeah, there was a lot of boos, but I mean, there was a lot of cheers too. And you know, even though it doesn't bother you, it's always a fresh breath of air.
Yeah, well, one thing that I noticed on there, obviously you got Izzy is always confident, but the confidence that I see, like when you go on the way you hold yourself in the interviews with the crowds and whatnot, doing the open workout. Is it preparation? What is the confidence? You know, you've obviously been here time and time again, and you just seem more confident every time you step in there.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, learning from the people that came before you is a big thing for me. I mean, you yourself, you've been there, you've been the top dog for so long, and it's almost like the higher you go, the more hate you get. It's kind of the natural way of things. And if I've been listening to people at any stage in my life, to the masses, I wouldn't even been in the UFC. I would have accepted that I'm not good enough a long time ago, and that's what it is for me. I've always believed in myself, my team, and the people around me that's believed in me, and that's where that self-belief comes from. And you know, you got to stay strong up there. You have to stay strong because there's one crack of weakness, it will be exploited.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
tension between yourself and Israel Adesanya has been building for a very long time now. Have you ever gone into a fight with this much passion and emotion behind it?
I have to be honest with you, the amount of passion and emotion I'm going into this fight with is exactly the same as I went into my debut with. You know, this fight is as important as that fight. I'm on the biggest stage in the world, representing my country, representing my team, and representing my family name and myself. You know, it's regardless of the magnitude of the fight, at the end of the day, it's still me, still there, winning or losing. And that is the only thing that's important to me, is going out there and performing the way I know I can, and doing myself, my people, and my country proud.
One thing that I mentioned to him, like when I seen you at the UFC PI, like first time I was at face-to-face, I was like, man, he's that big dude. You know, me, myself, at the featherweight, I cut quite a bit.
Yeah.
The cuts, how are the cuts for you?
Yeah, I mean, the cuts, I can be very happy. You know, I used to fight 170, which is crazy. But, you know, obviously, about 5 years ago when I moved up to 185, we did it the correct way, and now I'm 30 years old. I've grown into this weight division, and I'm big for 185, but the weight cut, I've been here many times, and that's the important part. Obviously, I had to prepare for the fact that we only have 24 hours in Australia. The governing body makes that a rule, so it's different, and I had to prepare for that. I had to diet down a little bit more. Not too much more, but just, you know, we all know the last couple of kilos are the hardest one to come off. So earlier in the camp, I made sure we made the right, we made sure we started a little bit earlier, made sure that we are at a weight where we don't have to sit right now and be uncomfortable with the weight, doing the same weight cut with less time to recover.
Israel Adesanya is one of the greatest of all time. What, if any, weaknesses do you see in his game, Dricus?
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing that. Being one of the greatest, not middleweights, but fighters ever. 100%. What he's done in the sport and in combat sports in general. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, what weaknesses do you see? At this level, you don't see weakness. There is no such thing as weakness.
Right.
You see your own strengths, and you see the potential to force somebody to make a mistake and to capitalize on that. And that's honestly how I feel about this fight. This is how I felt for the last couple of fights, fighting at the caliber that I am, the caliber of opponents. You don't see guys out there just, you know, being weak in some area. Otherwise, people way before you would have exploited that, especially not as a champion in the contender level. So, do I see weaknesses? No, I don't. But I do see areas where I can force him to make a mistake and capitalize on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned earlier to Alexander that we saw that sparring vision of the two of you many, many years ago. What are your memories of that, sparring with this guy?
Yeah, man, when I saw the video, I immediately remembered him. I mean, the man still had hair. And it was kind of, I remember that, you know, I was 19 or 20 years old when that happened.
That might be you in 5 years.
Yeah, you know, exactly that. And when me and him was sparring, I remember him taking me down then, and I was like, no, I think when I saw the video, I remember the session clearly, and I thought, shit, he's a featherweight.
But I mean, it is crazy. So even when I see that footage, and then even having like Will sparring, and then even having Izzy just come and randomly bump in, and you're just like, what? How did this happen in the middle of Thailand? It was just so weird. Like every time I see it, it blows me away. Especially to see the level that we're all at right now. You see so many killers come from Thailand. Obviously,
especially in that day and age, I feel around that time was 2013, 2014, and I mean, Peter Yan was in that room. Israel was in that room. Dan was in there. None of us were in the UFC yet, if I'm not mistaken. The only guy that really was making a name was Mayberg Tysonov at that stage, fighting in the UFC. I think he debuted. And, you know, we were all chasing, that's a beautiful thing about this. We were all chasing the same dream of becoming, and look at it now. I mean, there's 3, 4, 5 world champions that were training at the same time that wasn't even in the UFC yet. That's a special footage to see, you know. Look at how far we've come, and all with the like-minded mentality. We got there in different routes, and, you know, now we have rivalries, some of those, but at the end of the day, we started this dream and we started this journey all with the same vision in mind.
Well, Dricus, one last one before we let you go. Just on your training, there's vision that came out of your coach Mornay zapping you with a taser if you made a mistake. Isn't that kind of dangerous with the neuroses and the synapses of your brain?
Yeah, well, I guess so. But you know what's more dangerous? Not keeping your hand up and getting knocked out. I promise you that. So I'll take the tase all day. You know, rather going for that than you know. I'm thinking a knockout blow or anything in that kind of region is a bit more damaging to the brain than a little tase. You know.
Champ, thanks so much for your time. We can't wait to see you in action
I appreciate you guys.
this weekend.
Thank you. Great to catch up.
All the best to you.